Hi guys, welcome back. We're still continuing the project here on how to make a knot for a Fender type guitar. And as I showed you in the previous videos, we have taken a look at our knot blank and basically, found it and made sure that we've got everything we need. And we've measured the thickness of the knot and also the thickness of the knot slot on the guitar itself. And we've kind of, if you remember, we've kind of drawn in a line with our caliper. Don't know if you can see it, but we have marked a line with our digital caliper, and this basically shows us a line to shoot for when we're going to sand the thickness of the knot blank down to what we need. And right now I have lined up 3 pieces of different grit sandpaper here, and this is basically what we're going to use to take the knot blank down in thickness. So right here I have 120 grit, right here I have 240, right here I have 320. And if you have some kind of power tools that can make this easier for you taking the thickness down, I would highly recommend that you do that, because using the sandpaper and sanding back and forth, it's time consuming and it takes up a lot of time. I wish I had something like a belt sander or anything like that, because it would take half an hour of work and turn it into 2 minutes of work. But I don't have the power tools for it, so I'm just going to do it by hand, and I'm going to sand everything down here. And I've just chosen a very coarse grit here, 120, because it's just going to allow me to take off a lot of material fast, or hopefully. And when I get close to the line marked on the knot blank here, I'm going to switch over to a little finer, and when I really approach the thickness that I like, and I've fitted the knot on the guitar often to see how close I am, I will take it up to the 320 here, and get it to where I can just fit it snugly on the knot slot. So basically that's what we're going to do. And I've just I've marked one side of the knot here. I just written sand on it because I know it's the side that I'm going to face down when I sand on the sandpaper here. So I'll just keep that in mind, and when I sand, I'm just kind of making sure that I have nice even motions, not pressing too hard or holding too lightly, just making sure that I run it across the sandpaper. And let's say I do 15 or 20 strokes up and down and count them loosely or somewhat, and then I make sure to take the knot blank, let me show it here, take the knot blank and turn it around and do the same thing 15-20 times, take it back again, turn it around. And this it's just a basic little task to do in order to try and keep the knot blank here as square as possible, and it's just going to make it easier for you when you get to actually when we get to clamming it in the vise, we know that it's still square and basically where we need it. So just loosely count 15-20 times and turn it around, flip it, and then just continue. And I don't I don't take it here right now. I have it on the sand side, so if I go 20 times, I don't take the knot and flip it so the sand side here will face upwards. I will all the time be sanding on the marked side, and I will just take it and flip it around, still having the marked side down, and continue in that manner. So that's basically what I'm going to continue with now, and I'm not going to film the whole process of this. I'm just going to bring you in when I make a little progress, and you can see what's happening. So I'm going to start with the 120 here, and I might bring you in when I switch, and I'm going to take a look that we're going to fit the nut to make sure that we have nice even fit across the nut slot. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. So I'll continue doing that, and I will bring you in when I get close. So I'll see you in a little bit. Alright guys, welcome back here. I've been sanding here on this nut blank for quite some time now, and as I said I started out on this 120 grit here, and I plan on moving up to 240 and then finishing, when I get real close to fitting the blank in the nut slot, I move up to 320. I started out here with the 120 grit, and this kind of sandpaper right here is a coarser grit. I don't know the coating here, but it's basically your typical sandpaper. The 240 here are wet and dry paper. You can use it to buff and polish if you put it in water overnight. But you can also use it here just straight out of the box. This right here, the 320, and this new piece over here, also at 120, are emery cloth. And I don't know, the standard piece here at 120 and the emery cloth over here at 120 also, if I compare them, I did a lot of the sanding filing on this piece here, and it was real slow. So I took a look at this piece over here, and the feel of it is much more coarse. The coating is much more coarse compared to this one here. So I don't know. On the box it says emery cloth for metal polishing, so I guess it's something for cars and you can use it for that. This one here I bought at a local hardware store, so maybe it's just your regular coating for polishing wood and anything like that. So this one over here for metal, definitely. And I've just found that it removes material a lot quicker than this one did, so I'm kind of moved over to this one, and it has taken off a lot of the material here real quick, and I'm starting to get there, and it's probably going to be very hard for you to see, but I have a very thin, you can kind of see the line right there. I have a very thin line left that I will have to sand out and try to get it as close as possible. And but this metal polishing whatever sandpaper here is working, so I'm going to continue with that until I just barely reach the line down here, and then I'm going to take it to the guitar, and I'm just going to see how it fits, if it even fits at all, and from there I might move over here to the other 120, or I might just move up and just take it slow from there, because we basically want a tight fit, snug tight fit in the nut slot without damaging the veneer on a Les Paul, for example, or a lacquered finish if you have that, and in this case that's what we have on the Squire, the Telecaster here. So I'm just going to continue over here, and when I get to fit the guitar, I will bring you guys in again so you can see what we're talking about. But just to recap, guys, I chose to use 120 because on this nut I had to remove a lot of material, and you can basically choose whatever you want, but 120 is a good, I guess something like 100 grit could do it just as well. So getting it thickness down by using a coarser grit of sandpaper, then moving up to 240 and then 320 in order to it will take off less material than the coarser grit over here, so you can kind of keep up with your steps, and you do not run the risk of taking off too much material. So you just have to keep an eye on it. But this right here is, you know, quite a good combo. So I would recommend doing it like this. And if you just, you know, put on a little bit of good music, make a cup of coffee, and just take your time. Make sure that you flip the blank around, and just, you know, clean up your sandpaper regularly, because it will help it to get a more accurate fit here and sized dimensions on the nut blank. So yeah, we're getting there, guys. So I'll just, you know, I'll cut the video here again, and I guess when it's time to fit it and you can see what's going on, I'll bring you in so you can see what we're shooting for. So, you know, guys, just stay tuned for it, and I'll see you soon. Alright, guys, so I'm back here, and I have basically finished sanding the nut blank down here, and I've now got it to the fit that I need it to be, and I can, you know, I can fit it on the guitar here, and it sits nice and tight. So if I just zoom in here for you, you should be able to see this. And as you can see here, the nut sits perfectly, and it sits just like it should. So we've now got the correct fit for the nut down here for the slot. So basically that's great. That's what we're looking for. If I bring you guys in here again so you can follow along. Now it's basically time to bring in this jig that I told you about when we first started, and this is the jig that's going to create the nut for me. And as you remember, we gauged the nut slot depth here using this tool, facing it this way on the fretboard, resting so that these two independents, you know, plates, they can slide independently of each other. So that little gap you see there from the flat bottom here up to the curved, that is basically the depth of the nut slot. So what remains now is that we're going to fit a radius coil over this, and this is the radius coil for the 9.5 inch radius, which matches the fretboard here. So I will take this and I will put it over here, making it sit, and I can take the nut and basically put it on the flat platform, and, you know, get it set up the way it's supposed to be in here. Let me just set it up just like that, and, you know, the nut is now held in place, and we have the radius here that we're going to follow, and I'm basically going to lock this radius coil in here with the two washers and nuts here, and I'm going to file down from this side and down at a, you know, downward angle, and I'm going to continue filing until I reach the top of this radius coil here, because as I said in one of the other videos, on the other side here we have, you know, we have a kind of an angle here, a break angle, you can call it, for the strings to ramp from the front of the nut and back towards the peg heads. And, you know, I'm going to file from this side and downward till I reach the coil on this side and the coil on this side. And that's basically, you know, it will allow me to get the radius shaped out correctly, and I will have the, you know, right amount of height on the nut. So from there I'm set to put on the string spacing ruler that basically matches this jig, and I can clamp that in and make sure that I get the right string space for the guitar as well. So right now I'm going to clamp this jig in, and I am going to set it up in my little work vise here on the table. I'm going to get out my diamond file, and I'm basically going to file everything down, as I said, to match that break angle. So that's basically what I will do from now, and when I get it close, I will bring you guys in again, and you can basically see what I've accomplished. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll bring you in.